Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Real Sports here on the Who Are They Real Entertainment Network. I, of course, am your host, Colin Morris, and joining me this week is the man, the myth, the legend, Brandon Buckingham himself. Sir, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
It's good. It's Tuesday. I love talking sports. We had some good sports stories last week, so it should be a fun show.
It's preseason. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got MLB regular season is winding down. The postseason is slowly taking shape. We'll probably be getting into that more and more over the next couple weeks. This house is a huge Atlanta Braves fan. Myself, I am a huge Atlanta Braves fan.
They've made a massive comeback since
massive comeback. I mean, honestly, we need to start with that. I mean, it's one of those improbable comebacks in all of baseball, if you think about it.
People were counting them out. As soon as they lost Ronald Acuna Jr., like, oh, their season's done. Then at the trading deadline, they got basically a brand new outfield.
Yep.
And the Mets became the Mets because the Mets are the Mets.
Yes.
And here they are. They're in first place. I think last time I checked, they're up by 4.5 games now.
So they're up 4.5 games right now. They were 16-3 in the month of August up to now, which is absolutely insane.
That's impressive.
Funny story, I was at a watch party at a local pub for the Conor McGregor fight in July. And that was the night that Acuna tore his ACL. And here in Charleston, South Carolina, everybody's Braves fans. I don't know how else to explain this, but the Braves, people outside of what I just call the SEC, don't quite understand that there is not another major league team.
I mean, the closest one is Baltimore.
Well, technically DC. You would hit DC first, and then the nearest one to me is the other than Atlanta would be Florida. And then you're still talking in North Florida that there is a 6-hour drive for people in Jacksonville to Atlanta, and then a 9-hour drive to Miami for the Marlins, or a 10-hour drive to Tampa.
Yeah.
Right. So it's crazy. Like, people don't understand like how big Florida is, and just goes into that whole thing.
It's a big state, y'all. It's a big state.
It's a big state. And the Braves get literally Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, most of North Carolina, except for the top part that somehow finds itself part of Virginia and doesn't quite understand what state it's in. Even Tennessee, even parts of Kentucky, like even until you get to the north part in the Reds territory, once you get to Cincinnati. Yeah. But it's crazy. And for the Braves to be able to come back like this, it was just depressing in that night that I spoke of before, where the whole bar got the notification at the same time.
Oh, like,
no!
Top 5 best player in the league. He's a top 5 best player.
I'm like, the whole season's over. I've watched one Braves game since, having not even realized that they went 16-3 in the last month. Like, that's how out of it that injury forced me to go. And now the Braves fan in me knows I'm just going to be hurt, and pain will soon follow, and they'll get ousted in either the wild card or the first round.
I mean,
it's the pitching.
If they win the division, which is probably the only way they're going to get in that wild card, I'm not sure. They'll probably be the 3 seed. So they might play Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's pitching is really good.
They're really good. And the guys, I play in a dynasty fantasy league. Shout out to the Fantasy Circus. And those guys are down in Biloxi, and more than half of them have some affiliation to the Biloxi Shuckers, which are the minor league team of the Brewers. And they are all Brewers boys. Like, they know all of that. They've all come through there at some point, and now they're all in the bigs. And it's just like the pitching has been what those guys have been talking about for the last 3 years that we've been doing this league. And now the Brewers are to see where they've come from the whole Braun fiasco.
I mean, they're only 3.5 games behind the Brewers. Only 3.5 games behind the Giants for the best record in the National League. So
it's crazy. And shout out to the Giants. My stepdad, Dennis, a gigantic Giants fan, born and raised in the Bay Area.
I don't know what happened to the Giants. Like, they have a bunch of nobodies, but they keep hitting home runs.
They keep hitting homers. They have all these dudes that just keep hitting. It's like they looked across the bay over to what they're doing over at Moneyball in Oakland. And I just get on base and hit. Yeah. And they're hitting and getting on base. I think the biggest thing is got to be Brendan Crawford is just having the most stellar season. And I'm thinking back to a podcast I listened to like 2 or 3 months ago. And they were saying that the Crawford, I think it was like a trading card podcast where they talk about like, buy these cards. This specific card is their rookie card. And if you want to invest, buy this card and whatever. And they're saying, Crawford's not going to keep this up. Crawford's like,
that's what I said in May about the Giants. I'm like, it's going to hit June 1st and they're going to fizzle out. It's August 24th and they're still playing their best baseball.
It's wild. Yeah. The pitching stats for them are insane. And for anyone, like Gossman is just out of this world. Desclafani, is that his name? That's the other pitcher they got. He's awesome. Like they just got this like weird.
It also helps getting Chris Bryant. I think gave them like a second boost.
Easy there, Joseph. The Yankees.
No. The Yankees have played since the trading deadline. They played really, really well.
They've done a phenomenal.
They played really well in August. I thought they were dead in the water. I thought they were done. I'm like, why are you trading for Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo? Gallo hasn't done much, but Rizzo's
fantastic.
Rizzo's been phenomenal for him.
I love. It's just like I have to say this is the shameless plug. I work for the College of Charleston, and that's where Brett Gardner went to college. So like I have to like.
Do you say that like every podcast you're on?
Yeah, I do. I have to say it just so people know that I have to like if ever Grant Riller comes up, I have to say that like I have to just put that all to the side. But let's get into the main stories of the week as we get down to the wire. Couple big stories dropping today. I'm going to run through the stories and then I'm going to let Buck choose one and then I'll drop on one. Buck, Travis Etienne. We don't mention Clemson much on this show. They're not welcome here. This is a Gamecock friendly podcast. We don't like Clemson, but Travis Etienne, the former Clemson, now Jacksonville Jaguars running back, having to have season-ending foot surgery.
Yeah.
That is not
if you have a chance, buy now on James Robinson.
Oh yeah. If you're drafting in the next 2 days and you can get James Robinson in the 6th or the 7th, click buy. Because people and click on that ADP. Make sure you're clicking that ADP filter too, because that's where people are looking.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I still don't know why they got Travis Etienne. I thought James
Robinson. A running back needs his foot, Buck?
A little bit.
Just like the middle part of the foot. So I looked it up. I was at work today, and me and the stadium director were looking at like what this injury actually was. And I'm not going to show my foot on the internet just for sakes of Wikipedia. And apparently it's where the big toe like meets the foot. The bone actually connects to the foot right in the mid right there. Not like any pressure is ever applied right there for a running back. So just
how pissed would you be if you drafted Travis Etienne in the last couple of days? Because a lot of drafts were starting this week. I really hope someone in our Watt League drafts him because they're not paying attention.
They don't watch this show on their own channel.
Yeah, I want them to do it because it would be hilarious. Because he's on the injured reserve. He can't come back at all. So he's done. Like they can't bring him back.
The Jags are making the playoffs. Like it's not like one of those things where you're on the IR in the preseason and then you come back in the playoffs.
So
Etienne was going to be a third down back. I think he was going to be more than that, man. I was really thinking that they were really going to try
50-50.
50-50, not even 50-50, but more in the sense of how to describe this. I'm trying to get the right backfield comparison, but one just like he's his own dude. I think James Robinson was going to be able to do more like the Browns. That's what I was looking for. More like the Browns, where James Robinson was going to be able to do his thing, and then Etienne was going to be able to come in and kind of be that Kareem Hunt role. But now that's impossible, and James Robinson is just going to have to repeat like last year. And I don't know who another running back on that roster is. Is TJ Yeldon still on that roster?
According to Joseph, it's Hyde, so it's probably Carlos Hyde.
Ooh, Carlos Hyde. Nah, yeah.
That might be someone to take late, like after round 10, probably. Maybe just to give yourself someone on the bench. Just
how many guys in the NFL right now are, if Etienne was healthy, third string running backs that have had legitimate starting minutes in the NFL? He's one of few. He's one of a handful. So being able to grab him in the late rounds definitely seems to me like a good steal.
He was going high though. Etienne, I think in a lot of leagues
was going higher than Robinson.
Yeah.
By 3 rounds. That's hype. That's hype.
Yeah. I was like, first of all, why are you drafting Etienne? You have James Robinson, undrafted, did phenomenal.
You never have too many running backs, though. I think that's kind of what they're trying to go for. Like, you can never have too many weapons. Because that's 5 legitimate guys that could touch the ball for that offense.
I don't think them scoring is going to be the problem.
Oh, definitely not. I've
watched
you for 4 years. He can score.
You got Marvin Jones. You got Chenault. You got Chark still there, right?
DJ Chark. Yep.
I don't have a tight end, but Lawrence has weapons. But will the line be able?
Wasn't it that guy that was at Denver for a second? Thomas. No, not Thomas. The guy that was like big. He was good. He was good for Denver for a couple of seasons. Then he somehow migrated a bunch of places and he had some issues. But I'm trying to remember the name. We'll move on to a couple of the other stories. Just kind of throw this one out. The Bucks extended Mike Budenholzer. Congratulations on winning an NBA title. Here's 3 more years of a job.
You shut your mouth. He stole it from Phoenix.
I mean, dude, it's Giannis. But if you think Mike Budenholzer had anything to do with that, we're on 2 different planes of existence.
Dude, no, the thing that pissed me off so much about that series is he kept getting offensive rebounds. I'm like, just double team him, box him out. Like,
you can't.
It was just
you can't.
So frustrating.
Like, if you I really think the only chance that roster had is if DeAndre Ayton spent another 2 years in the Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic time chamber and came out like more buff and was actually, because he's not like, I love DeAndre Ayton. I'm actually pretty invested in some of his rookie cards. Like, I think he's going to turn out.
He made a massive improvement, though. Like,
he made one of those jumps, right? Those jumps they talk about, but it was from 2 to 3 instead of 1 to 2 for him. And more so, he made the jump from 2 to 3 that I think Luka made from 1 to 2, but it was less noticeable because Chris Paul and Devin Booker were on his team. Mm-hmm. He was able to make in-game adjustments that are unnoticeable to the statistical eye.
He should do 20 and 10 every game. He should do 20 and 10 every game.
Every game.
There's no reason that he shouldn't.
When Chris Paul is gone and it's Booker and Ayton, it's on. Like, it is on.
Yeah.
It is going to be slamma-jamma time. That guy, if he adds 15 pounds of muscle and he's 15 or 20 pounds away from looking like Dwight Howard in 05, and I'm here for it. With a better shot. Like, that's fun to me.
That is true. Dwight was like everything within like 6 feet of the basket.
Everything. He never even attempted.
DeAndre has a mid-range.
Dwight's ever held the ball outside the 3-point line before 2015.
It sounds like Ben Simmons. Like, he has to shoot within 6 feet of the basket.
Ben Simmons got a bunch of rumors this week. And I'll just throw that a quick one. Where would you like to see him go if he leaves Philly?
I don't even know who he's rumored to go to.
Rumored to go Timberwolves, Warriors, though I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Blazers. Blazers are a big one for some reason. They think the Blazers are a move if they can somehow get Dame
to stay.
No. It would be a swap. It would be like a pick. It would be picks from Philly and Simmons, or it would be McCollum and a pick. I think somehow McCollum is
Simmons is so
a less
one-dimensional,
value.
though. He's so one-dimensional. Like, he drives, and that's it. Like, he's got to develop.
Have you seen the videos this last week, though? He can shoot threes again.
I will leave it when it's in a game. I don't care if it's some social media of him training video.
It's the third summer in a row we've seen this buck. I'm kind of sick of it.
But does he do it in games? No, he doesn't.
And that's the thing, man. Like I had a bunch of buddies and we were so hype on him when he came into the SEC, and he was at LSU, and it was just nothing. It was just nothing. Just piss poor nothing. He didn't even care. And it just seemed to me that like he just gave minimum effort as opposed to Deadpool's maximum effort. But here's a story that I know you have something to say on. Nerlens Noel is suing Clutch Sports for $58 million in lost earnings. And let's do this math, folks. How does he sue him for $58 million? Well, he apparently turned down a 4-year, $70 million and instead took a 1-year qualifying offer of, I think, $12 million. So I think that's where the 70 minus 12 equals 58. Buck, who's dumber here? Nerlens Noel or us for talking about it?
Us for talking about it because it's not a story. Your talent,
it's third on ESPN.com in top headlines. So
you're a terrible basketball player, so it's all on you for losing that money. Don't blame your team for you losing that money. Become a better basketball player, and then maybe you would have earned that money.
Fair enough. I don't have any more to say. And that brings us to our last story, which is probably the biggest story in the entire world, but on this show is the last story of The Wire. Cristiano Ronaldo is currently telling Juventus, I had to get the name right, that he would not like to play in this week's game and sitting out of the lineup in hopes of a transfer to the Premier League to either Manchester City or Arsenal, or, and here's the bigger shock, to the French league to play with fucking Messi at PSG, where you could have Ronaldo and Messi on the same team. And this is all based around a rumor that started first that Mbappe was heavily rumored to have been an offer was sent out from Real Madrid, Ronaldo's former team, for Mbappe, which would have left heavy capital for PSG to spend on Ronaldo. Buck, I know you don't know much about soccer or
anything. This like
I know you know the names Ronaldo and
yeah. Well, I mean, any casual sports fan should know those names. So is this like would be if LeBron and Steph Curry basically teamed up?
This would literally be if LeBron and Steph Curry were on the same team. Ronaldo is the physical equivalent in soccer to LeBron James in the terms of in the sense of like he is a freight train, right? That's what people call LeBron, right? A freight train driving through the lane, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. He is a freight train of strength just coming straight through any lane, any open cut. He turns any closed hole into an open hole in more ways than one and can take it right to the goal. And it is incredible. And the fact that he could be back in the Premier League, which would be crazy because he was with Manchester United, which people think would be a huge betrayal because he has a very, very solid, strong relationship with the former manager of Man U, Sir Alex Ferguson, who always says that he would never play for Manchester City because of that. So it'd be interesting to see if there was something that would turn that. Man City currently has what is heralded as the best manager in the world, Pep Guardiola. He coached Messi at Barcelona. He led Bayern Munich in Germany to 5 or 6 straight Bundesliga titles and a couple Champions League titles. So, the pedigree's there for Ronaldo. It's just now when you start sitting out games for your team in soccer, it's like, all right, something's about to happen. Like that, this is where shit gets real. When you give up game checks to move somewhere else, that's when it starts to get a little more reality instead of, we've been hearing Messi rumors of leaving, but he finally actually left this year. But now we're in this limbo world of who knows, and it's all rumors.
That would be interesting though to see them on the field same time.
Yeah, FIFA would break. You would only see one team played in FIFA.
Yeah, like everyone plays FIFA. No. Oh, they took that team.
Oh no, you can play the same team in online.
Oh jeez.
It could be PSG versus PSG, and it's really annoying. It's about as annoying as it sounds. Shout out to the guy today. Actually, I was playing Madden, and the guy it was
Madden 22 or 21.
21. It was Packers versus Packers, and the guy asked for a friendly quit, and he messaged me, and he said, "I can't do these same team matchups." And I was like, "Dude, you're a G. I had never even thought to just friendly quit on a guy because it's the same team. That's actually more respectable than I thought."
Yeah.
And then I played the Chiefs, and I had one of the most intense games of my life, and I won 21-17. It was absolutely insane.
I can't play Madden online because my internet's so inconsistent whenever I try and play sport games. Like it lags so bad. So I haven't.
Madden's pretty good though, because you can at least get like the Madden connection's usually solid because it's like just an instance, right? It's like just the play, and then it can like trap you in that internet instance. I don't know, but I know internet sucks. I'm looking down below, and I see somebody in the chat, and I'm looking for a thumbs up if he's ready to go. Is he ready to play? Is he ready for game? He needs 1 minute, so we're going to introduce the next story. Buck, we found this great article. We're going to get into the league, the National Football League, in an interesting article that we stumbled upon on NFL.com, talking about year 2 players with their current teams.
Year 2, by the way.
This is not sophomore players, right? This is not sophomore players. It could be a sophomore player, but mainly specifically talking about teams with players in their second year with that team. Stephon Diggs, Tom Brady, those types of guys.
Because Lamar was in his second year when he won his MVP, right?
Correct.
Patrick Mahomes was technically in his second season when he won his MVP.
Correct.
And last year, I thought Kyler was going to do it, but I was wrong.
So we're going to look at this through a bunch of, let's see, 3 categories. We're going to look at this second year with a new coach, second year with a new team, and second year in the NFL in general.
Yeah.
So, second year with a new coach, we have 2 players, and these are all players with MVP hopes. We have Dak Prescott and Nick Chubb. Buck, as I let my cat in, so he quits annoying me. Who you got?
First of all, do you know what type of numbers a running back has to put up to even be considered for MVP? They pretty much give it to quarterbacks each and every year. Like, you have to have some crazy season. Like, Nick Chubb would probably have to rush for over 2,000 yards, maybe 14 touchdowns. The thing is, he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield, so he's got to have a lot of rushing yards and a lot of touchdowns, I think, to even be in the conversation. Dak, however, Dak can just do his normal thing. Dak can probably go for, let's say, so we got 17 games.
Weren't his 2019 numbers like he had 5,100 yards? Like, it was insane. He had Dak in 2019 had 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Like, you need to take that to the next level.
I think he has to pass for at least 5,000 yards.
And that was with like Tavon Austin, Amari Cooper halfway through the year, and a rookie Michael Gallup.
And who does he have now?
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee freaking Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper. And don't forget his best friend Zeke.
His best friend Zeke, Tony Pollard, and let's not mention the most important part of this. Let's not forget the offensive line. The offensive line is finally healthy for Dak, and I think that is the biggest thing that is going to make a difference in this team.
Hopefully he learned his lesson to not scramble.
Because a Dakless, barely held together O-line Cowboys almost made the playoffs last year.
Because the East is a joke.
I know, but that's the thing. That's all they need to get through that division. And if they have this, it's a walk in the park. It's a walk in the park.
Yeah, I think if that line can protect, and I think the Cowboys could go anywhere from, I think they could go 10-7 to 11-6. I had to think there because 17 games on 16.
Yep.
I was like, wait, 10-7, yeah. And I think you could see someone win this division at 9-8.
9-8. Wow. Sorry, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? 9-8.
The NFC East, yes. I think it's the Redskins. Sorry, Washington football team. My bad. I think the Washington football team is the favorite.
We just call them. What's the name of the team from the replacements?
The Generals.
The Washington Generals, was it? That sounds right. But if something bad, we could just name them that team. But I think
they have a better overall roster. Washington
defense is better. I think the defense is better for sure.
Defense, that front seven is legit. That front seven is pretty good.
Allen with Young.
They got Fitzmagic though. They got Fitzmagic, so you never know. You never know what you're gonna get out of Fitzmagic. They got Scary Terry. So I think as a overall roster, Washington is better, but I think Dallas has a better offense. So it's for me, it's a toss-up. Oh, we got a cat sighting.
He was being annoying, and now he gets to get pets. But I believe the man, the myth, the legend himself, the master, Matt Thomas, is ready to join the show. Sir, welcome in.
How you doing, guys?
Doing well. How about yourself, Matt?
Doing good. Had to knock out a review before I got on here, and then my internet is like, we're going to be a little bit questionable and sus. And this is why my father and I can't wait to switch providers when they are finished putting fiber in the area.
Oh, yeah. Because, you definitely, there are some streams where you're just like on Monday near the end.
Oh, don't get me started.
I was like, oh, poor Matt. I know this isn't his fault. It's the provider. There's nothing you can do about it.
Not a damn thing. But Buck,
Matt, is Nick Chubb winning MVP?
He's not winning MVP, but I need to correct Buck on his statement about he doesn't catch balls.
Catches balls when he needs to.
I was just about to say. Look, let's see. His first season, he caught 20.
Okay, one catch a game.
149 yards. Second season, 36 for 278.
That's
better.
And last season, keep in mind he was out four games last season, 16 for 150. Average of at least 7.5 a game, 7.5 yards a game.
Okay,
that's not bad. Not bad.
But
not MVP.
When you have Kareem Hunt on the team,
you don't need to.
Exactly. You can. They're both dual threats. People need to get the idea. Oh, he doesn't catch. He catches when he needs to, except that divisional playoff game.
And then we'll make this next one a little more fun as we get to year 2 with a new team. I'm gonna let Matt choose first between these two. I'll let you two argue it out. We have Tom Brady and Stephon Diggs. Matt, take your pick.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm like Tom Brady's the easy one because he's done it several times. I'm like, it's boring.
But also, when you look at how he played in the regular season, it's not like he put up world-beating numbers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team built to survive the playoffs, and even then, they have a pancake schedule this year. I don't care that they have all these returning starters. Yeah. They probably would have lost that championship game last year if it weren't for the fact that, the Chiefs didn't have their O-line, their ends. They didn't have their left tackle or their right tackle, so you had no one to protect the quarterback, basically.
Mahomes was running for his life, and he made some insane throw.
And he was playing on a busted
one of the most
foot.
insane throws of all time.
Playing on a busted foot, no offensive line, basically. So, like, what can you say? Like, he did what he could. They probably would have won that game if, one, he weren't injured, and two, his line was actually there.
So, I am happy for Bruce Arians, former coach of the Cardinals. I'm glad he was able to get his Super Bowl. So, I thought that was pretty cool because he's
the man. He's a good dude.
He doesn't give a fuck. I love BA's attitude. Like, he will call out a player in the media if they're doing stupid shit. Like, it's
but Brady can play with the sprained MCL because he's a pure pocket quarterback.
He's took like pressure on that though. It's the pain he's talking about.
Yeah, I know, but my point is, like, he doesn't have to move around to the same extent, or he doesn't naturally move around to the same extent as someone like Mahomes.
All right, and we'll move on to year 2 in the NFL. We got 4 choices here. Herbert, Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, not Thomas. 5. Tua and Chase Young.
It's hard.
I'm gonna give you two names. Let's do 2.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you an offensive and I'll give you a defensive. So I'll start off. I'm going Chase Young and Herbert.
Well, there's 4 offensive players and 1 defensive player. Great math, Matt. Great math. Go Buck.
Hey, I knew the math. I was just saying that. It's not. I was just trying to make it seem like it wasn't the Ohio State bias. But outside of Myles Garrett,
I said Buck. Is your name Buck?
Sorry, I was talking about a Buckeye. So I heard
you went first last time.
No, I think Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, and I think we saw that last year. My only concern is Mike Williams. What Mike Williams are we gonna get? They're having I think once his rookie contract is up, he's gone. He's not going back.
I think his rookie contract is up, isn't it, Colin?
This is his contract year.
This is his contract year.
So hopefully he balls out so that he can show teams that he deserves to get paid because he is a physical specimen.
You know who should pay him? The Seahawks.
Put him with DK. That's not a bad idea.
That is not a bad idea. That's too.
And let Lockett actually fuck around in the slot and not have to also line up in the Y and go for some deep ball that he has a 35% chance of catching. But he catches most of the time. He takes that 35% and he takes it pretty far.
Could Tua make that leap from year 1 to year 2? He was so bad last year.
Wait until you see Waddle. Waddle, you nearly lost him for the season this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Etienne done for the season.
We talked about that earlier.
I'm just glad I picked up James Robinson in my dynasty league because he'll at least
smart man.
He'll at least save me this year.
I don't know, man. James Robinson might be the good pick this year. Etienne might be the pick in the few.
I said this year. He saved me for this year. It's a dynasty league. So
I'm gonna make the Chase Young argument. I think Chase Young has opportunity with actual talent with Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen on the defense on the line with him to actually allow for defenses to notice midweek. Holy shit, these interior linemen are not bad. They're actually great. They're former Alabama linemen. We have 2 Alabama linemen and a Buckeye coming at us full speed on rookie contracts, and it's insane. And I think Chase Young has a chance to put up numbers that J.J. Watt put up in his Defensive Player of the Year run.
It's so hard for a non-QB to win MVP or even to get into the discussion. They have to have I think he's got to have at least 18 sacks, a handful of forced fumbles.
It's 0.8 sacks a game. You better be close. You better have at least a half sack.
He needs to have a Myles Garrett year last year before Myles got COVID, because that was the tear Myles was on. That was getting about a sack.
And then you
got to
have the offense, you got to have the story, you got to have the
Yep.
team back it up, and I just don't know if Washington can do it. Jonathan Taylor's not going to get it. The offensive line gives me the yips with Quentin Nelson, and I don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
Carson Wentz, as of today, apparently will be ready for
He's
week 1.
fine, but I still don't trust it.
Oh, no.
You had surgery on your foot a month ago.
Don't let Toby hear you say that.
I don't care. I just speak the truth on my channel.
It's 5 to 12 weeks. That is a massive time gap.
No, he's back in practice.
He's back. He's practicing.
I know, but
it's so weird.
Let's see how he looks week 1.
And then we can talk about Joe Burrow and Tua. We talked about Tua for a second. Just let me see the receivers all in play. And Tua's, I think he might be too short. I think he's too short.
Herbert is my pick here because Herbert, that rookie touchdown record that Baker Mayfield set a few years ago.
Herbert broke it like it was nothing.
Nothing. He and Baker, both rookies who didn't start day 1 games, ended up breaking the rookie touchdown record.
Yeah, Justin Herbert
I think Herbert broke it like 2 or 3 games before the end of the season.
Herbert is fun to watch.
I like watching Herbert. He had an extra game more than Baker did, but yeah, they both broke it with ease.
Joseph saying 20.5 sacks, 25 tackles for loss, and 41 QB hits was what Aaron Donald did in 2018. Still didn't win MVP.
Exactly. It's so difficult. It's so difficult for a non-QB to win.
It's hard. But if anybody's got a chance, I think it's Chase Young. I think it's obviously Myles Garrett. I don't know who else, honestly.
I think that's about it. I think in terms of a defensive player, I think that's about it.
Well, that brings us to a very interesting discussion. Last week, Bleacher Report released a new series called Chips with Draymond Green, in which Draymond Green and Kevin Durant sat down for a 30-minute uncensored discussion.
Oh boy.
And was one of the most authentic, truly gripping, and I'm not just saying this as like a Warriors fan, just as like a sports media fan. It just shined a light on something that had cast a shadow on one of the could have been greatest dynasties in sports history. Kevin Durant, spoiler, just a quick summary of the interview. Draymond Green and Kevin Durant get down to the conversation of their argument versus the Clippers in 2019, getting into the discussion of what about that caused Kevin to ultimately decide to leave the Warriors for the Brooklyn Nets the following offseason after losing to the Raptors in the finals. Ultimately, they boiled it down to the handling of this situation by Bob Myers and Steve Kerr. Now, I know Matt Thomas watched this. I know Matt Thomas had.
I watched some parts of it.
I know you watched the important parts. What does this particular, I don't even know what to call it, special podcast series and things like this and LeBron's Barbershop, what does the sports media landscape look like over the next 5 to 10 years if we slowly realize that what we do on a weekly basis, or in ESPN's case, a daily basis, is all for fucking nothing because these guys just told us the real story and all it took was the two of them sitting down and probably going to dinner afterwards to get us the real deets. Why do we have to sit here for 2 years and listen to the what ifs and all this stuff and we invent these like falsities in our heads?
I think you end up having to listen to this stuff because, especially when a subject is still raw and just happened, let's be honest, sometimes players don't want to talk about this stuff. Not right away, at least. And I think that giving themselves this outlets like the Player Tribune, like LeBron's Barbershop, like this, It allows them to talk about it in a forum where they get to control the narrative and tell their truth. Because realistically, they're the only ones who are ever going to know the truth. Everything a journalist hears about what's going on in the locker room is always going to be hearsay, for the most part. Occasionally, you'll get to hear or see something from the locker room, but for the most part, it's going to be hearsay.
And what really sticks out to me is, and that's why we call this real sports. We're not going to sit here and talk about, we're not going to go back to it and who was wrong and who was right in the issue. We're taking what these primary sources gave us, because when I was in school, I was always told, and Buck backed me up, 2 primary sources, right? You need 2 primary sources from the event to back it up, and then you can get me some non-primary sources, some secondary sources, some secondary to back it up, right? We got Draymond Green, we got Kevin Durant, the 2 dudes here sitting here telling us what happened. Draymond Green says, leadership rushed it, management rushed it. They told me to apologize to Kevin. Don't tell me what to do as a man in this situation. They were speaking to him as an employee and not a 2-time champion. Is that a fair way to look at this?
I didn't watch.
Well, just that was there.
That's you just gave you. It just gave you the
what
breakdown,
Draymond says to us is that Bob Myers sits him down that night. They get back that night from LA and they say, "Okay, you're going to apologize." He said, "All right, well, we're not getting anywhere right now because I'm not apologizing to Kevin because you tell me to apologize to Kevin." The next day they sit down and they say, "We're going to suspend you for a game." And Draymond laughs in their face. This is what he says he did. He's like, "I laughed in their face." Bob Myers said, "Wow, it's not really the reaction I was expecting from you." And Draymond said, "Well, that's the reaction you got, and that's how I feel. Like, I'm not going to do what you guys tell me to." Is this some? I think teams have probably looked at this now and realized that the Warriors probably didn't handle this the right way, because I think things have happened since that they let, like, I think Kevin used the direct reference of the Scottie Pippen incident in The Last Dance, that The Last Dance reference, where Scottie sits out the last shot in game 4 or 5 of the Knicks playoff series. And because Tony Kukoc was drawn up to take the last shot, and then he sits out. And Kevin says, "Why didn't we just get to figure that out together like they did?" And Steve Kerr was even there for that. And now they have to hear about it from management. So I pose this question to you, Buck. Are you on team let management figure this out or let the team figure it out?
Team.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. I'm on the team also. It always, like, a lot of the time in the NBA when you see teams start to turn it around, what do we hear it was because of? Colin.
Sorry, what was your question? I was reading.
I said in the end,
but that's I'm about to blast him.
In the NBA, whenever teams start to turn it around, what do we hear happen?
Oh, it's the coach's fault. It's all the coach's fault.
No. What do we hear normally happens like right before the turnaround?
Oh, there was a players only meeting.
A come to Jesus players only.
At a players only meeting.
So it only makes sense. You always got to let the players figure it out.
Okay, Jeremy. Draymond may be entitled, but Steph and Clay are not why he has rings. He was a very large part, and you missed one. If you're going to put it on anyone for the rings, it's not Clay.
It's Steph and Draymond. It's Steph and Draymond.
No. His name is Andre Iguodala for the first one.
For the first one,
Steph and Dre got the second one. Clay was there.
Clay was the guy who got credit for doing nothing on the group project.
Clay was, I will say, Clay is a regular. Yeah. Whoa.
Jeremy!
Jeremy, I love you. What is happening here?
Jeremy, no.
Mark Jackson was the dude that invented the PB&J, and then Steve Kerr cut the crust off. That's it. Steve Kerr made the PB&J better. I give Mark Jackson all the credit in the world for putting the initial team together, for him and Bob Myers working together for drafting Draymond, drafting Clay, getting those guys in there. But it was Steve Kerr unlocking the offensive talent, really opening up the floor, in really invigorating some of the basic necessities of the triangle that made the Warriors so creatively dynastic. And it is just so wild to me that this whole, like, oh man, I can't even listen to Mark Jackson on TV anymore.
Yeah,
I can't listen to him.
Jeremy, you do know that Mark Jackson was known for playing favorites and creating a toxic locker room environment.
It's his fault.
That is part of the reason why he hasn't been able to get a job since he got fired by the Warriors.
Ask for a ask Mark Jackson how many recommendations he can get from the Warriors.
I'm a Cavs fan. I hate the Warriors, and I'll even stand up for that. Like, no.
No, it's a wild ride. I think this has been one of the weirdest off seasons we've had in a while in terms of stories, players, things moving. We've been all over the place. Hell, Jared Dudley's an assistant coach for the Mavs. He just got hired today as an assistant coach. That's crazy.
That's the fastest I've ever seen a retired player get a job, by the way.
Damn, Shug. Bro, you want a job on this channel anymore, bro? Like, I've learned to not talk like that. Like, I called them respectively the Cleveland Browns too. Like, it's fine. Like, hey, you suck. You suck. All right, let's fight. Come on, Chuck. I was even wearing like kind of a yellow hat. Like, come on, man.
Shug's just mad because he has to wait till next week to be on, and Buck got to be on tonight.
Look, the AFC North next week is going to be one of the most ratcheted things on the internet you've ever seen. Does anybody know a Bengals fan? Can we get a Bengals fan? Because then we could just go all four squares.
I might be able to try to pull one up.
If we could pull a Bengals fan, that would be sick. So
that will be must watch, by the way.
So we do have Buck here. I want to turn it over to the Cardinals.
Darren is a Bengals fan. Who's
right,
Darren?
Let's get Darren on here. We'll find Darren.
UK, he's from England.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Darren.
gonna be like 3 a.m. for him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to. Unless he's talking about a different Darren.
Let's talk about a different one. I know Darren. Buck, what's up with Kyler? You in on Hop? Are you in on your backfield? Give us the Cardinals rundown, man.
It's preseason, so I don't really like. Everyone's making a big deal.
You're 2 weeks away from the regular season. You're a week away from cuts. Come on, it's time to get in it.
I think they'll be just fine. I think.
Okay, and answer me the Chase Edmonds and James Conner thing. Like what's your dissection of that?
Buck, be honest with me. Part of you is hoping they fail because you're tired of Cliff Kingsbury. You and I have had this conversation.
Yeah, he's a offensive guru, yet their offense really hasn't changed the game like it was like he said he was going to. So
I don't have the power, Shug. I can just suggest it to management and put in a letter of recommendation.
No, so Jeremy, I'm mixed on the idea of the Cardinals making the playoffs. If they do, Steve Keim keeps his job. If they don't, Steve Keim's done.
Can a 10-7 Cardinals team make the playoffs?
I don't.
In the NFC, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know about that in the AFC, but in the NFC, that might work.
There's a chance, but the AFC, there'd be no chance.
I think they're better than 10-7. Yeah. I think they're 12-5.
In the NFC West, I don't know,
dude. You can beat the Niners. You're a better team than the Niners. I don't know about like Fred Warner is a fucking monster.
They'll have that line back. They'll have that D line back, and that was what they were missing last year. I wonder how long it'll take for Trey Lance to be the starter.
He throws one of the best footballs I've seen in a while.
He looked a lot better this past week.
He looks so good. third or fourth. Sheesh.
He's got a point. Rams with Matt Stafford, not Jared Goff.
Yeah, see.
Seahawks.
I know. I just feel like that's like the easy thing. Like I'm trying to think like my betting brain, right? Like I'm trying to go with my betting brain. And I'm trying to think like, yes, obviously the Rams are good. Obviously the Seahawks are good. Seahawks have issues. They did not add anybody on offense. They bolstered the O-line a little bit. Defense, who'd the defense add? The defense is turning into the Ravens. Their defense is probably the average age that the Ravens won the Super Bowl in, but the Ravens had added Anquan Bolden, and they kind of moved the needle a little bit. But it didn't seem to me like the Seahawks added anything too impressive. Now, the Niners, their defense is one of the scariest things in the league if it's fully healthy and if it's firing on all cylinders.
And also, let's keep in mind with the Niners, new defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Robert Saleh's not there. He's with the Jets.
Head coach.
Shout out Robert Saleh. I love that guy. That dude's a monster.
So,
Gerald Everett, Joseph, just shout out.
Seahawks did get rid of Brian Schottenheimer, who I feel was holding them, who was not there.
He's an idiot. Yeah, not an idiot. He's a moron, maybe.
I would think moron's worse than idiot.
So I'm mixed on the like. I'm not going to root for my team to lose, but I want Steve Keim gone. I'm willing to give Cliff a little bit more time.
Oh, at least Shug. At
5.
At least 5.
I think we might need to bring Buck back to be a moderator.
Yeah,
for that.
Buck might need to be he who moderates.
Yeah, I'll
next
try.
week.
With a referee shirt on, just
Yeah, go to your Foot Locker and rob it and just ask.
Or I could play the clip every time you guys get rowdy.
what clip is that?
What clip do you think I'm talking about? The clip that Jeff loaded in on Friday? Yes. Every time y'all get rowdy, go ahead and play that clip, and it just basically derails the entire conversation.
It's going to be wild. Well, let's get into our closing statements of the week. Matt, we have a big week coming up. It is the final week of preseason with the shortened week, and then they're going to get a week off before the regular season. How are your Browns looking? How are you feeling? Give me your pulse of the league right now. Where are you at?
I'm confident in my Browns. The second team has looked great. Let's be honest. Second team has looked like starters, and that's not something you normally hear said about second team. Granted, Troy Hill threw hands with Sterling Shepard. We're not going to get into that. Tack McKinley reported back to camp today. He's not practicing yet, but he's back with the team after taking some time away for personal reasons. It was approved time away. It's not like he just disappeared and they didn't hear from him. They knew what was going on. They knew the situation. Davion Davis got hit with a 2-game suspension. So if he were to make the team, he's going to be suspended for 2 days or 2 games. So that's great. But no, it seems like our receiving core is set. I'm very happy. The defense, from what I've seen from training camp, has looked great. Shut the hell up, Shug.
That's one.
We aren't even into next week yet.
But like, at least our quarterback isn't throwing picks. So we haven't thrown a pick all maybe we threw one, I think, from Loletta. But and Shug's high as a kite right now, apparently. So
Yeah, he's just trolling you at this point.
yeah.
All right, let's get into flock talk as we bring in the Ravens discussion this week. Hold on, let me drop down. Let me pull up the Ravens. All right, boys, here we go. Rough week for the Ravens. We lost LJ Fort, torn ACL, out for the season. Hard loss. Now it is all on Malik Harrison, which Matt cannot shit on. He has to root for Malik Harrison. He has to sit there with the
I was
straight
pissed when
face.
you guys drafted him. Don't get me
He
started.
has to sit there and he has to like it when Malik Harrison is second in the team in tackles this year.
Bro, don't get me started because I already hate having to root for J.K. Dobbins.
It's on both sides of the ball. You have a really hard time. It's like, oh, damn, this sucks.
At least
now it's gonna be,
Justin Fields went to the NFC.
That's the best thing that could have happened to you, I think.
Yeah.
He's actually starting this week, and he's supposed to play the entire first half.
Yes, I saw. But I'm pretty sure Andy Dalton isn't playing at all this week.
So that means Andy Dalton looking like the week 1 starter.
Precisely.
As he should be. There's no reason. There's no reason for Justin Fields to start.
More on the flock talk. Wide receivers are still out. Rashad Bateman out. Hollywood Brown still out. Tylan Wallace looked all right. James Prochet, catch a ball in practice, dude, and I'll talk about you. Tyson Williams. I just got to take a second. Former South Carolina Gamecock, now Baltimore Raven, currently fighting for the 3rd back position over, oh, God, what is his name? Oh, shit. He went to Oklahoma State, and I forgot, and he was pretty good. But now he's not going to be on the team anymore. So it's going to be Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and probably Tyson Williams after a pretty impressive 1-touchdown performance against the Panthers when the Ravens won 20-3, extending their preseason nobody gives a fuck record of 19-0 in their last 19 games, the most unimportant record in all of football besides, other to me, that just proves that team hates to lose. Buck, anything else in the world of sports that grinds your gears?
Let's talk about your Cardinals preseason so far, Buck. How'd they do this past week?
Talked about the Cardinals. I asked him about the Cardinals. He was doing good.
I just meant their preseason game because I didn't.
First team offense went 3 and out 3 times.
All right.
So there's that. Again, I'm not worried. It's preseason. I've never given 2 shits about what teams do in the preseason.
Well, you guys. Well, big story. You guys activated JJ off the pup,
and Andy Isabella off the COVID list.
Dude, Andy has a huge week ahead of him. Andy has to ball out on Saturday.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, call out the Andy Izzy shot, Matt.
No, I said Andy. Andy's off the COVID list. He got off the COVID list today. So, shit, someone's here.
Somebody heard his name and he had to show up. What is up, brother?
What are y'all talking about over here? Ravens talk, Browns talk, the horrible Cardinals. Nobody wants to hear about those bad teams. I hear about the Steelers.
Dog pound.
The dog pound. What the hell is that? No, what's up, you guys? Hope you guys was watching the stream. Just wanted to jump in and say hello to my good friends, Colin, Buck, and of course Matt. Even though he is a Browns fan, I need to.
So, Shug,
yes,
as
sir.
the unfortunate host of this show, I have to ask people questions, and I need to ask a Steelers fan one question. Describe to me the emotions between the picture of Chase Claypool being helped off the field to the Instagram story post of, nah, it's all good. Like, how fuck level were you between him being like carried off the field to him saying it was okay?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you see injury, it sucks. You don't ever want to see someone get injured. Hey, you know what? Jeremy has been on a
tear tonight.
We didn't get blown.
What about Claypool's TikTok last week? Why isn't the Steelers fan talking about that?
Well, because I haven't seen
the Steelers.
I know. I think I follow him, but I didn't see it.
Oh, sure. I'm gonna send you this real quick.
Okay, so send it to me. There's nothing wrong with being on TikTok. I mean, just wrong with dancing on a team's logo, but being on TikTok.
No, sure. This is a funny TikTok. Like.
Okay, but going back to Colin's point, I mean, obviously injury is you're always worried. Claypool slated. Look, I think the Steelers have figured out, and Juju Smith-Schuster has figured out he's going to be the slot second receiver. Being a number one, he's going to be a kind of a number one receiver, but not a real true number one receiver. And that's going to go to Claypool if he can make the plays. We know there's been rumblings of, I believe, Washington, Washington's having James Washington is having some issues. Wants the ball more, because they're throwing to everybody else other than him. So he's been really upset with his play. That they're not feeding him the ball more. So hopefully that gets changed. But I think the biggest thing is that the running back. I mispronounced his name.
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
He looked pretty good last week.
Dude,
It's gonna change.
When he broke that dude's ankles was disgusting.
That's gonna change a lot for the Steelers and Ben and protecting him and having a better run offense because Ben is gonna be able to stay clean and not get put in the ground so much. And let's see. You know what? I honestly believe he wasn't ready to play last year. So I think his arm was just not ready.
Najee Harris.
Yes, Joseph.
So
Najee is a big boy.
Yeah, he is a big boy.
I had a keeper league where he got taken 4th overall. By
that does not surprise me.
I was like, "What are you doing?"
What do you mean? What are you doing?
It's a 3-person keeper.
Bettis.
It's a 3-person keeper, and if you keep a rookie, it costs you a 6th-round pick. So I still don't understand.
Fine with me.
Yeah, to Joseph's point, I think it's going to be Ben last year, but I think he wasn't ready last year to come back. The arm strength wasn't there. I think he'll be there this year, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he performs. Obviously, we're in a division with the Browns, the Ravens, to the tough.
Fuck you, Bengals.
Defenses. No, Bengals are good defense too, but we have like wars against you guys. Like we have these wars, and so Ben's gonna have to be able to stay upright and not get hurt and see what happens. So, but
thank you so much for Villanueva.
I don't think you should be happy about that.
Really, because he has been so. It's not to me. I'm not asking him to be all pro, but because of what we did last year with what we had. We had a taped together offensive line. We had dudes dropping left and right. Ronnie Stanley was out in week 5. We lost 2 starting centers, and we still almost made it to the AFC Championship game. So you get Ronnie Stanley fully healthy. You pull in Andre Villanueva. You got Zietler in, who's been a beast in camp. You got Ben Cleveland. Have y'all heard of Ben Cleveland out of Georgia, the rookie? This dude is a monster. Look up the tape. The guy walks out onto the field and looks like he's like, I said Jadeveon Clowney was blessed into the world pre-padded. Like he could just play football. He doesn't need pads. Like he's just fine without them. And Cleveland's the same way.
Dante Johnson?
Yeah.
Johnson. Yeah.
I think he led the league in drops last year, right?
Yes, he did.
I think he'll be under, but I don't think he's going to be as targeted as much.
So, Shook, who's the real question? Who should be the backup, Rudolph or Haskins?
Haskins, absolutely. He's looked actually pretty good. I think he's benefiting from playing behind Ben and also playing under Mike Tomlin. He's looked really good.
I agree.
Don't get me wrong. I had made this statement, and my friend ever sees this, he'll probably point it out. I said that Rudolph was going to be Ben's successor. And then after he got hit in the head, I don't know what the fuck happened to him. He just completely changed. So I think he's just going to be a journeyman and go to different teams, maybe get a starting jobs at some point, maybe play pretty decent, but I don't think he's our future like I thought he was when he first came. And I liked him. I liked him at first, but just after that thing.
Well, folks, we're gonna wrap this episode up.
We'll continue the Steelers, Browns, and Ravens talk next week.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. Are we all wearing jerseys?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I don't have a movie next week.
We're gonna close it on one final question because we had a late breaking story coming out of the West. Vic Fangio believes Broncos have 2 quarterbacks that they can win with. So I'm going to go around the horn here, and we're going to pick the starter of the Broncos, and then we're going to call it a night and go watch Hard Knocks together like we do every Tuesday in the Watt Discord. Buck, I throw it to you, sir. Teddy Bridgewater or if I knew my aunt might not be watching, I would say his real name, but Drew Lock.
I go Teddy. They're not going to win a lot. I say
They win 6 games at max.
I was saying
their
5
win
and
total is
12.
probably at 4.5.
I was saying 5 and 12.
Yeah, 4.5. Solid win total. Vegas, you want to?
It sucks because I want Judy to have a breakout year, but
he doesn't have a breakout year, and they can go 5 and 12. He can still have 1,200 yards.
That's true.
You got 17 games now, and it's not bad. Shug, Teddy, or Drew?
Drew has looked decent, but he's like inconsistent. I'm gonna go with Teddy. Yeah, I have to go with Teddy.
Matt,
I have to go with Teddy.
Is it Drew Lock or is it Teddy Two Gloves?
Teddy Two Gloves!
Teddy Two Gloves! Let's go! Shout out to the former Louisville QB. We got a great QB battle also going on in New Orleans. We'll get into that a little bit next week as well. That has been another edition of Real Sports here, folks, on the Watt Reel Entertainment Network. For Colin, for Matt, for Buck, for Shug. This has been so much fun. But before we throw it away, Matt, please tell everybody everything that's going on this channel.
Well, normally tomorrow we would have a Real Geek Core, but they are taking a short hiatus. Chris is out of town, so he's taking a vacation, going to Bonnaroo. So that there's no Real Geek Core tomorrow. But at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, we do have a real review for you guys. Connor and I just recorded it. It was part of the reason why I was late. That is none other than our review, Candyman.
No!
What?
I love Yaya, but I can't watch it. Only say his name 4 times.
Colin, you can handle this movie.
Only say his name 4 times.
Oh, you pussy.
4 times.
Then on Thursday, nothing. Just small week this week. Thursday, really scared, may or may not come back. I don't know full details yet, so we'll see. Friday, if Chris is on Real Geek Core, that means no Wrestle Real. Nick may do something. He's talking to me about it. We'll see what happens. Saturday, myself, Colin, and the impeccable host we have, and Toby Barkwell will be talking about the gallery episode in Saber Reels this week. Really excited about that. Sunday, the return of Real Talk with myself and Nick Mulbach. And then Monday, of course, Spin from the Reel. We got one of the writers joining us this upcoming Monday. Really excited about that. And
Yeah, apparently I mentioned some names and people got, real scared.
No!
But real talk.
I'm alive. It's fine.
Matt, this is your fault.
That is Jeff's fault.
No, I know it's your fault for giving Jeff the power.
I needed Should to have backup. I didn't expect Jeff to take over completely.
This is what happens when we want. Or no, this is why we can't have nice things, guys.
But also, we do have a real review that dropped today that I'm really excited. And if you all haven't watched it already, you need to, because, oh my God, this movie was a blast. And that's Shang-Chi. Or Shang-Chi, excuse me. Shang-Chi. Yes, I know. I had to. I corrected myself right when you were starting to correct me. But go check out that real review right now. I can't wait for y'all to see this movie because it's my favorite MCU movie since Black Panther. So
until December.
Possibly.
Let's be real. When December rolls around.
No, big facts. Big facts on that shit. Big facts.
December, we're all gonna be a little happy next December, okay? Or this upcoming December. Damn. Damn.
Under 4 months to go.
Months. For Earth 616, Colin. For Earth 616, Matt. For Earth 616, Buck. And for Earth 420, Shug. We will see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Real Sports. We will see you all next time. Bye.